Hey there, and welcome to GamePoints episode 124, our weekly little get-together. We talk about recent gaming news. I am, as always, your host, Stephen Brown, and joining me today is no one, as you can see. My co-host, David, is currently out sick. He's had one hell of a work day, and it just took its toll on him, so I'll be running over things solo. As is traditional when I do things solo, I tend to get pretty rambly, and they tend to also go very quick, so it's completely understandable if you just want to skip this episode. I'm not going to hold it against you. Otherwise, if you're going to stick around, I appreciate it. As always, we do stream live every Monday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at twitch.tv/GamePoints, and this is an audience interactive podcast. So feel free to join in the chat, type in whatever questions, comments, concerns you might have, and regardless if you're watching us here at Twitch or our YouTube channel, feel free to give that like button and follow button a smash as well. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into things. Actually, you know what? One second before I get into it. I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to Vermintide 2. I've been playing that lately over the past weekend, and if you're looking for a Left 4 Dead style game to give you that multiplayer fix, I highly recommend taking a look at it. I want to say it's only $29.99 right now on Steam, and it's definitely worth every penny. Far more expanded upon the first Vermintide with some extra RPG elements thrown in, so that's my little plug of the week, I guess, if I wanted to pick out a game. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. Give me 1 second, because I need to unprofessionally cough real quick. I apologize for that. It's been a very pollen-y day down here. So, let's go ahead and talk on the first topic out the gate, and it's probably the biggest. Everyone last week is enamored with the Nintendo Direct that popped out last Thursday, as well as some of the announcements that came out on during then. I'm not going to get into too many details about the announcements. You can watch the Nintendo Direct on YouTube. Everyone has access to it, and honestly, if I show any of it, Nintendo flags this video and they either try to claim it for monetary reasons or just flat out give me a strike, and it's not worth the effort to deal with them on that end. So I'm going to pick out a few things that I liked from it, just one or two here and there, and we'll go from there. The first thing that I saw that I really enjoyed was Octopath Traveler. I really hate that this is the name that Square seems to be going with. It's on their marketing now. You see it on the official box art. It was always listed as a working title, and it sounded dumb as hell. But sure enough, that is what they're going with. The collector's edition does look pretty slick. I don't have a photo of it right now, unfortunately, because I'm a bad host and didn't have that prepared. But I do recommend taking a look at it if you're looking for a classic-style RPG, and that's going to be coming out July 13th of this year. The other little bit on the Nintendo Direct I wanted to mention real quick was the Dark Souls amiibo that's coming out. Now, if David was here, he would be gushing about this thing. Unfortunately, he's not, so I'm just going to show it off for everyone here. As you can see, Solaire of Astora is being made into an amiibo. This is possibly the greatest amiibo of all time. It's the sun bro praising the sun. That's what he does. And it makes perfect... I'm upset that I did not see the obviousness of this sooner. Apparently, his amiibo functionality is you connect him up and you praise the sun in-game. Yes, I know you can just go through gestures and do it on your own, but fuck, it's an amiibo. It needs to have some kind of functionality, and god damn, that's a good amiibo. That's all I gotta say on it. I mean, it's an awesome amiibo, right? And this is going to be a very quick show. Like I said, I don't have someone to bounce ideas off of, but we're going to do one a week anyways. Finally, the last bit of Nintendo news I wanted to get a hold of. I know Direct had a whole bunch of stuff come out, a bunch of release dates and stuff like that, but there's only a few things I want to mention, and the biggest news that came out of all that was the announcement of Super Smash Bros. Once again, I would play the trailer, but Nintendo's a dick when it comes to YouTube stuff, so I can't even really show that. It had a couple of the Inklings fighting from Splatoon, fighting around a white background, and all of a sudden the Smash logo appears in one of their eyes. You see in the foreground some characters. Mario is one of them. Breath of the Wild Link is another character in there. That's kind of surprising. I expected them to go a little bit farther back in the category, and the reason why that might be surprising is because there is some debate on whether or not this is a new Smash Brothers game or just another port of the one that was on that came out previously. My gut tells me it's going to be a brand new one. A lot of the people involved in the designs of it are... Admittedly, these could be mistranslation issues, rather. But it just sounds like this is a brand new one. Nintendo did not do themselves any favors by not... Well, I take that back, too. They hyped it up. People are going to get hyped over this. I just wish they gave us a little bit more information. I wish they were a little bit more clear about whether this is going to be a port or a remake or an entirely new game, or if they're doing kind of a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe where, hey, we ported it over, but we also added all the DLC in. My gut tells me it's a brand new game, however. Time will tell, of course. I'm sure we'll get some more information as it goes on, and I want to say this was slated for this year, so we'll see how that shakes out. I could only assume that it's being deliberately timed to release alongside the Nintendo Online side that goes live later this year. I want to say that was in September. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or if you're watching us on Twitch. But this would be a big thing to launch alongside the online services that are supposed to be coming out. I don't know, however, if they're going to launch it the day the online servers go live. Or the online services go live, rather. I'd imagine that Nintendo would want a couple weeks of their online thing getting sorted out before they attach Smash Brothers to it, because you don't want your first impression of Smash Brothers on the Switch being a buggy, glitchy mess when no one can connect with each other. And let's be honest, anything that goes online is going to have issues like that. So it's probably in Nintendo's best interest to release their services a week or two early so they can hammer all that out before Smash Brothers comes out and leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth if people can't play against each other. Or Nintendo could have the confidence to say, fuck it, we'll do it live and nail it all in one go. I don't necessarily think that's what they're going to do, but we'll see. They were just it is literally just a tease. We just know it is coming, and I kind of wish we had some more information on it, and I'm sure that over the next few months we'll be inundated with character rosters and levels and all that. We'll see how it goes. Next topic. Thursday was a massive announcement day for some reason. Just everything got announced, including Black Ops 4. Activision put up this little teaser trailer of what's going to be Black Ops 4. As you can see, zombies are back in it. It has a lot of modern day stuff, and I don't know if that's a positive or negative step or not. I'll get into that in a second. But this has been something that has been teased for the past couple days leading up to this. Basketball players recently cited wearing fatigues and the hat with that logo on there. Notice they didn't go with the number 4, and instead they went with 4 hash marks, like little kill marks or something. Not really too sure where they were going with that. A lot of people were making stupid jokes about how dumb that is, but honestly, it made y'all talk about it for a day, didn't it? So it really wasn't that dumb. It got the message out there, of course. The trailer, of course, ends with community reveal event on May 17th. You see community reveal, probably something on Twitch, maybe something on YouTube Gaming. I get the feeling more on Twitch. They'll probably invite some of the bigger streamers over and go, hey, here is Black Ops 4 in action. Probably play a couple multiplayer maps. This is all supposition, of course. I don't have any advanced knowledge on this one. Just feels like something they would do with a global launch date of October 12th, 2018. Now, for people who really pay attention to release dates, you might notice that October 12th is very early for Call of Duty. There's a reason for that. In my opinion, not even Call of Duty can withstand the juggernaut that is Red Dead Redemption 2. And they pushed their game up a month or so to avoid launching up against Red Dead Redemption 2. That is how terrifying RDR2 is to publishers out there. They don't want anything near it. So, there you go. That means we will, of course, get a little bit early. I don't know if the modern day take is a smart move on them. Call of Duty World War II was a very... It's weird to say a World War II game is refreshing, but when it was all the zooming around, jump packy, double jumpy nonsense the past few Battlefields and Call of Duties have been, it's kind of glad to see them go back to a more grounded, realistic experience. And it's a very jarring jump to go back to this near future / future tech feeling that Black Ops 4 has around it. So we'll see if it works out. Right now on YouTube, I think the comments are for every 1 downvote, there's 4 upvotes. So people seem to be generally into it, but we won't know for sure until later this year. Remember how I said Thursday was a big day just to announce all kinds of releases? Well, we also have the Division 2 announced. No trailer, but there was a blog post done up by Ubisoft right here. Let me go ahead and bring this up here so everyone can see it. There we go. From their blog post. An announcement from Massive Entertainment on the Division 2. If you go down the blog post a little bit further, we'll get to the point that I'm going to read here. Here we go. Quote. We're thrilled to announce that we're working on Tom Clancy's Division 2, and that development will be led by Massive Entertainment in collaboration with Ubisoft Reflections, Red Storm Entertainment, Ubisoft Annecy, Ubisoft Shanghai, and Ubisoft Bucharest. The Division 2 will be powered by an updated version of the Snowdrop engine that enables us to realize our ambitions for the sequel. Part of that means recognizing your commitment to Division, and with that in mind, we're adding a new type of achievement called Shields to the game. Only of them will unlock special rewards of a Division 2 when it launches. So not only do we have the announcement of Division 2, which was kind of a no-brainer, Ubisoft has been very committed to their long-term games, and their games have had kind of a nice tail. Both Rainbow Six, Division, and oddly enough, For Honor have all had impressive multiplayer communities that have stuck around for the long haul, and it's kind of cool to see them going, hey, we're going to add in these extra achievements which will give bonuses to Division 2. Reminds me a lot of when Destiny 2 was announced, and the original Destiny added in all those, oh, god damn it, I can't remember what they were called, but they were essentially milestones that were supposed to gear you up to the launch of Destiny 2. I wish I could remember what they were called. Similar feel, more than likely, when it comes out. I really liked the Division until the point that I didn't. They kept fucking with it and fine-tuning it, and I think they broke a lot of things, and I remember having issues with glitches all over the place a couple months into it that weren't there before, and I stopped playing it entirely. That said, I am very excited for the Division 2. I really enjoyed what I saw when it came out. I saw the start of something great there. It just really didn't get actualized, unfortunately, and I'm hoping the sequel hammers out a lot of that stuff. Kind of moving through the news real quick, but like I said, hey, when I'm solo, I don't have anyone to really bounce stuff off with, and this is a very David-focused episode of Dark Souls in this next topic, which is The Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, might be appearing in Soul Calibur. This rumor comes via Forbes. Let me bring that page up here so we can all see. There we go. It sure seems like The Witcher's Geralt is coming to Soul Calibur 6. Now, this has been a rumor that's been kicking around for a while there, and it all started with this tweet right here. Let me see if I can pop that up. It's not coming up on my end, on your end, unfortunately. Long story short, the community lead for CD Projekt Red teased that Geralt of Rivia might be appearing in another game. So the internet went nuts over what game this could be, and keep in mind, a game that's not another Witcher game. It's something independent from that franchise. Everyone was starting to freak out. Here's the quote right here. I apologize. Quote, "What if Geralt was going to step out of The Witcher for the first time to make an appearance in one of the upcoming games later this year?" End quote. So, 1, has to be a game that's coming out this year. 2, not a Witcher game. And not Gwent either. So don't go thinking it's going to be the card game. General consensus seems to be Soul Calibur 6 is the answer to this. And there's a few things that are going to back this up, as you can see right here. First, a few weeks ago, the Let's Play Video Games team put out forth an idea that Geralt would show up in Soul Calibur 6 based on their own sources. They essentially have inside sources that say, hey, he's going to be in Soul Calibur 6, and this was weeks before this tweet went out. Next, Banco Namco are the guys who distributed The Witcher 3 in Europe. So there's already a working relationship between Bandai Namco, fucking spoonerism there, between CD Projekt Red and Bandai Namco when it comes to cross projects. They have a business relationship already. So it's within the realm of possibility this is going to happen. In fact, it might have even been worked into some of the background details between their distribution contracts. And finally, Soul Calibur as a series is not really any stranger to having guest characters in their stuff. Remember, a Spartan was in there, Spawn was in there, Link was in there, Hayachi from Tekken was in there. It's not unheard of, and would be kind of surprising for them not to include a character in there. That said, I think this is legit. I think this is a real rumor. I fully expect to see an announcement probably at E3 as we get closer to release of Soul Calibur 6. And I would not be surprised to see a couple other characters in there as well. I doubt it's going to be Aloy from Horizon, because she seems to be tied in with Monster Hunter right now, and there could be some licensing problems there. But if you have any characters you would like to see in Soul Calibur 6, let us know in the comments down below. I know I'm moving through these real fast, and I'm talking really goddamn fast. It's just how it is when I'm going on my own. I'm babbling to myself, so bear with me. Next topic. Let's talk about Days Gone. Days Gone, the long-developing zombie biker game from Sony Bend, has apparently been delayed, according to this article via US Gamer. Let me go ahead and pop this up. Where is it? Here we go. Ha ha ha. Days Gone, release date delay, character story setting, zombie enhancements, and everything we need to know. And this is via US Gamer. Days Gone, the first PS4 game from the Oregon-based developer Bend Studio, was the first revealed back in E3 2016, closing out Sony's showcase with a gameplay demo featuring the main protagonist fighting a horde of zombies. The game may have gone somewhat dark since then, making a smaller, but there's nothing here. I could have sworn this had what I was looking for, but I lost it somewhere. Sorry, bad host. Let me just close this page real quick. You don't have to worry about it again. Long story short, Days Gone has been officially delayed until 2019, right? If you go check out their webpage, it lists it as 2019 as the date of arrival. And they did reach out to Sony earlier that day to confirm, and they did say, yeah, it's 2019 now. Here's the problem. I don't ever remember Days Gone being slated for a 2018 release to begin with. I could be wrong on that. Please let me know, but I don't think I am. I don't recall seeing anywhere Sony coming out saying, yeah, Days Gone is a 2018 title. This is one of those things that everyone just kind of assumed was going to happen, especially with The Last of Us 2. Everyone assumes Last of Us 2 is going to be in 2019, so they went, well, clearly you can't launch 2 zombie games in 1 year, so it has to be 2018. Either way, we do have confirmation that it's 2019 now, so whether it's delayed or not, it's kind of a moot point. It's going to be coming next year. The development for Days Gone, I don't know, man. I think about this game, and it sounds cool and all. It's essentially Sons of Anarchy with zombies, right? That's kind of seems to be how they're selling it, all the way down to its original code name, which was Dead Don't Ride. But let me give you a little bit of history on Sony Bend. Sony Bend's last console game was Siphon Filter the Omega Strain on PlayStation 2 back in 2004. They have made a couple other Siphon Filters and a couple other Uncharted's on portable systems for the PSP and the PS Vita, but nothing really AAA, I would call. It's all been handheld stuff, which, hey, the Uncharted Golden Abyss, I believe it was a solid game. But man, it just, I don't know. Everything about the development of this game screams trouble to me, including this last second delay. And I feel like this game would have been canceled years ago, but someone at Sony is really pushing for this to work. And if it doesn't work out, you can bet Ben's days are numbered. They're going to be shuttered because Sony has no problem closing the studio if it doesn't perform. I hope it's good. I'm not wishing that the game is bad. I am worried about its development time. Because the last game that Ben released was Uncharted Fight for Fortune on the Vita back in 2012. 6 years ago. And that was a card game. Not saying that card games aren't hard to develop, but it's by no means what they're trying to do here with Days Gone. There's a lot of red flags around this, and I don't want there to be because I like the premise behind it, but man, it's also fighting against the fact that it's going to be unfairly compared to Last of Us 2, and let's face it, it's another zombie game. Do we really need another zombie game? I'm fine with the concept of zombies if the plot's done well. I don't play them to fight hordes of enemies anymore. We've done that. We've seen that. I want to play it for a story there, and I just don't know if Ben can do it, but I'm rooting for him. I want it to happen. I just don't necessarily have faith in the project. We'll see how it shakes out in 2019, I guess. Final news story I want to talk about as we're going through a very quick pace here, and that is that Bluepoint has officially stated that their next game is going to be another remake. This is via Eurogamer, and it's going to go on to say, let me bring this up. There we go. Bluepoint's next game is another remake, according to the headline. Quote, Bluepoint Games has confirmed that its next project in the wake of the stunning Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 4 is a new remake. Digital Foundry had the opportunity to talk with the team about the technology powering its latest release and asked whether or not the expanded art team brought on for the project will be deployed on a next on an original game. The quote from Marco Thrush, who is Bluepoint's president and co-owner, said the following: "Well, we could, but we're doing another remake." End quote. Very simple, but essentially confirming that they are doing another replay. Keep in mind, Bluepoint is known for being I don't want to call them a port house because that's a bad term for it. They do more than ports. They do a lot of remakes. The Shadow of Colossus remake, of course, being a prime example. Looked gorgeous. really updated the graphics on it. Didn't change the control scheme, though, so I have some issues with that. Speculation, of course, going around Bluepoint might be working on, ranging from the Mass Effect trilogy remake all the way to doing like the original Battletoads. I think I heard someone toss out there. I don't think it's going to be that. Something tells me it's going to be probably related to a Sony property, since they seem to have a very friendly relationship with them. But as far as what that could be, I don't know. It could even be something like the Spyro, the Spyro collection that we hear getting tossed around, that remake's coming. I wouldn't be surprised if it was that. That seems to fit. But once again, I get the feeling this is going to be one of those games that we don't hear anything about until E3, and they go, hey, this collection's coming. One thing to note, there haven't been that many collection games this generation. I remember the tail end of the PlayStation 3, and you had like Metal Gear Collection, Zone of Vendors Collection, all these collections and compilations and re-releases were getting cranked out. That seems to have died off a little bit the past year or so, especially in this generation. But if we're approaching the end of it and people are ramping down title production for PlayStation 4 and starting to make plans for PlayStation 5 or Xbox 720 or whatever the hell their new Xbox is, it would make sense we start seeing more of these come around. Not saying that their life cycles are going to be ending anytime soon for these new next generation consoles, but I am going to say that PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, whatever the hell that's going to be called, will be in homes no later than 2020, which is 2 years away, meaning games are already fully developed for it. Also remember, I'm convinced Death Stranding is not a PlayStation 4 game, but a PlayStation 5 game. So once we approach the end of the generation, you're going to see more of these coming up. So I'm not necessarily surprised to see the Crash Bandicoot collection coming around. I think these guys are working on the Spyro collection, but we'll see what comes up. That kind of does it for news of the week. Let's go ahead and get into new releases as we're running into the last part of the show. New release once this week coming out is The Council Episode 1, The Mad Ones for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. The Council is it's very reminiscent of the Telltale games. It's an adventure game. It's kind of a historical fiction in this case. You're invited to some party with Napoleon Bonaparte, George Washington, and a couple other historical figures. The art style is very reminiscent of Dishonored, and I'm kind of grooving on it. I recommend taking a look at it on Steam and see if it's going to be your jam. Murder mystery, some occult stuff going on. I'm not really too sure what the overall plot is to it, but I'm definitely intrigued by the setting and the style of everything there. So take a look at it. That's The Council Episode 1, The Mad Ones, coming out this week for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Back to my collections that I was telling you about, how we didn't see too many of them until recently. Devil May Cry HD Collection is coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One as well. This is a HD version of the first 3 Devil May Crys, not the... Yeah, I believe the first 3. I don't think the 4th one is on there. I have to double check that for you. It is more or less going to be heralding in the announcement of Devil May Cry 5, not DMC, actual Devil May Cry 5, which is not technically confirmed yet, but everyone says it's out there. If you recall, it was rumored supposed to have been at PSX, but they delayed announcing that because Sony wanted their E3 to really be a punch in the gut this year compared to the lackluster one they had last year. Also out this week, the 25th Ward, The Silver Case. This is Suda51's weird-ass detective novel coming out to PlayStation 4. It's very Suda51. That's what I can say. If you know who he is, you probably have already played this game. The American Dream on PlayStation VR. This reminds me a lot of Office Simulator, but everything you do is with a gun. You want to comb a dog's hair, you use a gun. You want to open up that beer can, shoot it with a gun. I don't know if it's some weird commentary on recent events, but hey, there it is. It looks cool. I believe it's being published by Devolver Digital, so there's that kind of still quality that everything they publish tends to get stamped with. Take a look at it if you have a PSVR floating around. Also coming out of early access this week is Surviving Mars for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. This is a world-building colony builder on Mars. Think SimCity on the Red Planet. Looks cool. I know a lot of people on Twitch have been playing it. I will probably finally give this a try now that's out of early access. I don't do early access myself, or I try not to do early access. There are a couple early access games I'm playing, like, say, The Spire and Darkest Dungeon back when it was in EA. but for the most part, I tend to avoid early access like the plague. Now that this is coming out this week, I'll probably be picking it up. It looks kind of cool. We also have Kirby Star Allies on the Switch later this week. It is a Kirby platforming game. Looks cool. I love a good platformer. The only problem is it's 4 players, it seems. And I just don't like multiple people on my platformers. I want that to be a single player experience. You can have them controlled by bots, it appears, but still, the game would be designed for 4 players, and I don't want anything to do with that at that point, unfortunately. Your mileage may vary, so by all means, feel free to pick it up later. And then finally, rounding out the new releases this week, Burnout Paradise Remastered on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, coming out later this week too. So remastered version of Burnout Paradise. I wish it was Burnout 3 because that had the crash mode in it, but Paradise also has its fair share of fans. Feel free to pick that up. Apparently it looks really slick running at the 60 frames per second. I believe it runs at that. I need to double check that too. Like I said, Burnout Paradise was not my favorite Burnout. I preferred the crash modes, and Paradise did take that out. I think we're going to wrap things up here. I know it was a very short show. We normally go on for an hour, but when it's only myself, it's kind of hard to do this because I have no one to bounce ideas off of, and I just get really rambly, as I've said a couple times before. But hey, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. This has been GamePoints episode 124. We do stream every Monday night live here at Twitch TV/GamePoints at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And feel free to join the show's conversation when we're having it. Just type in the chat box there and I try to do something we can. If you can't watch us live, go to youtube.com, type in GamePoints one word, and we should pop right up. Regardless of where you're watching us at, like, subscribe, comment, dislike, leave feedback, whatever you want. I do try to read all of it when I can. Anyways, we're going to wrap things up here. This has been GamePoints. I'm your host, Stephen Brown. And until next Monday, oh, wait, not next Monday. Next Monday, we actually won't be doing the show. I will be doing things at GDC. I'll be going to the Indie Mix. Essentially, it's a little showcase where they get together like 30 or 40 indie games and then have press walk around and play them all and give impressions on it. I might do a little show on Tuesday talking about some of the highlights that I saw there, but don't expect us on Monday night because I am not going to be here. So we'll get back to you 2 weeks from now with David. So until then, this has been GamePoints, and we're out of here.